Welcome to Disability Empowerment Now, Season 4, bonus episode, Who Knows Anymore? I'm your host, Keith Murphy Dickincini, with my co-host and very dear friend Alaina Morin, and we are again unpacking our deep love for all things Depeche Mode on our second mini-series, aptly titled Depeche Love and Devotion. Alaina, welcome back to the show.
A pleasure as always. I'm sure our fans are just loving this endless Depeche Mode talk.
Well, it gives us something to do.
We know,
That's
oh my God, you and your puns. How do you do it? How?
I I have to apologize to my producer. I don't know how he's gonna normalize that bit of laughter. No,
I love them. Keep them coming.
that was actually very organic, and unlike all of the other ones I did, that was not planned. It is literally something we're doing on the off season. But we were talking before we jumped into the recording how hard uh, narrowing this list down through all of their albums, because this is a over 30 plus year band, 15 albums in, dozens of remixes, compilation albums.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about before, as Martin Gore himself has said, I write about three things: relationships, faith, and politics.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you really think about it, in life, what else is there?
Yeah.
So tell me how it was for you uh, building this gigantic Spotify playlist that we're gonna tackle.
Yeah. So first off, I'm just jealous of your puns, by the way, and that you can even think of. Let's just revisit that. I'm just jealous because I can't think of them, let alone like do them on the fly like you just did. Secondly, this list was harder, I think, than going down the religious songs, and I've avoided it for weeks, right? Like we've had a break, and
So have I.
yeah, and I finally got the list done last night, mostly because I know their whole catalog, their 44-year catalog's like seared into my brain. And I think um, it was hard because when it comes to them singing about love and devotion, and devotion we more mean can be religious, but also more like to a person. You know, in
Yeah,
this part of the series, we're kind of leaving out the religion, going more for like. So there will be some repeat songs because some of the
yeah,
religious songs can also be about a person and just a
yeah,
loving relation, a romantic relationship. And I think what makes it tough is there's songs like I left out that we just talked about. I was debating on Fools, which is off the Construction Time. Fun song and kind of depressing at the same time if people listen to it. Sounds like you're at a circus. It's kind of exciting and disco-y. And then all of a sudden you really realize the lyrics and it's about a guy thinking his wife's stepping out or girls stepping out. And he says, answer
yeah,
the phone and just tell me that you're home.
yeah.
And how do you, I didn't really feel like that was love because that more sounds like kind of can't even say heartbreak, right? We're not even sure what the context of the relationship is.
Yeah,
While that does cause heartbreak, that can also be jealousy, can be kind of an
yeah,
assumption that she's stepping out and maybe she's not. And there's this kind of, I really think these songs were harder to choose because then there's a song that we'll get to later, Come Back, just a plea for a romance to come back to their life,
yeah,
a person they miss. And for me, it was like, where do we draw the line? Right? On
yeah,
like love versus Depeche Mode has a habit of sometimes talking about obsession, jealousy, anger, and all the things that come with relationships and liking
yeah.
women. And so um, I think that's what made this list tough was when
No
do you,
comment.
yeah. So that's why I found it tough.
So, Construction Time Again is their third album, and it's the album which Alan Wilder officially joined the band and
Yep.
played on. And the album itself is their reemergence and their drifting away from the electro pop that their first two albums. They don't quite shake it uh,
Yeah.
in construction time. They do with their follow up Some Great Reward, and they definitely do on Black
Yeah.
Celebration and onwards. Uh, but the only song we're really talking about on uh, Construction Time Again is Lie to Me.
Mm,
And so
I love that
why
one.
don't you take that one?
First off, love Dave's baritone voice on this one. Um, he really goes deep with his voice in the chorus, or I mean, in the verse. Lie to Me is interesting because again, this was the teetering one versus like Obsession, and it is what it's titled. I mean,
Yeah,
he sings a song about he'd rather her lay with, as Martin chants at the chorus, lay with me, lie to me, and love me. It's I love Martin. This is also an album where they really start to show the dual
oh,
of the two of their voices.
hold on. We're actually in some great reward
Oh, just did we not have any
territory.
from Construction
So,
Time?
construction time, love in itself.
Can I pull up the list real quick so I can make sure I follow along?
Yes,
Oh my
I
God.
was trying to do that myself.
But Lie to Me
Uh,
is number 10. No, Lie to Me is number two. So, but yeah, there's only one song. You're right. Lie to Me
yeah,
is, you're right. Some Great Reward. Listen, to your credit, the albums are both blue.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
when you're just staring at it, you're like, that's, oh yeah, there's one with a guy with a sledgehammer and one with a married couple. Right. Okay.
yeah,
Um, Whatever, getting married in a
yeah,
fascist, regime in the background, no big deal.
yeah.
So okay, Sledgehammer Man, Construction Time. Love in itself is kind of it's an interesting song because they're young still singing this song. They're
Yeah,
under the age of 25 and they're
they're
like,
very,
there was a
very
time.
young.
Yeah, and then they sing there once was a time where all of my mind was love.
Yeah,
Um and then they're singing, now I find that love's not enough itself. I have never fully deeply dissected this song, but if I'm really thinking about it now and being forced to, I really think that he's singing, he wants more. He wants, a spiritual connection, wants an
yeah,
intellectual connection, wants the lust connection.
yeah,
I think there's kind of this thought that it's not just enough to love somebody. You know what I mean? Again, this is
Yeah,
where Depeche Mode gets a little weird and dark even. I think that point of like wanting obsession is what they're talking about, is that it's not enough to love them. You kind of
yeah,
need to worship them. And I could be
yeah,
wrong with my interpretation, but the song is really seedy sounding. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and this is a banger on this album for anybody listening or actually caring about this podcast, and Depeche Mode.
Wow,
This,
thanks.
no, I'm kidding. I just mean Depeche Mode's a wild trip.
Yeah,
Um, Love in Itself is this banger that opens up the album crashing in. It's, I think, the
yeah,
only album that does this. Almost every,
yeah,
right? Every album starts out with a slow crawl, and this one is like, it's
yeah,
like it slams with those synths, and I
yeah,
friggin' love it. And I think that there's something about how kind of dark the song sounds the whole
yeah,
time that tells me they want like worship. They want like
yeah,
borderline sadistic relationship. That love is not
yeah.
enough.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think of a dark, brooding, sadistic uh, song by the title itself,
Yeah.
love in itself. And so let's let's fast forward back to Lie to Me because they're very they're in the same vein a little.
It is, yeah. Lie to Me is really about, again, I like you so much that I don't care if you're not telling me the truth.
Yeah,
Just pretend you love me. You don't need
yeah,
to be honest if you love me. Just at least pretend you love me. Lay with
yeah,
me and lie to me about it
yeah,
because I like you, so I want you to lay with me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's a really fascinating concept, to be so obsessed with this
yeah,
person that you wouldn't even care if they weren't really in love with you.
yeah, yeah. And so, but it really doesn't matter. I,
Are we going down this or are we skipping it? We going to your
no,
fave?
we're
Somebody?
going down to it doesn't matter because really it doesn't.
Yeah. That's what the song's about.
Yeah, it's take it away.
You might need to elaborate on this one more, because I personally like It Doesn't Matter too. But with It Doesn't Matter on Some Great Reward, um, it really is kind of about this fleeting feeling of romance,
Yeah,
or like as you were saying earlier, maybe unrequited love.
yeah,
There is a situation at hand between him and the lover that it's not working. It's like a quick, fleeting thought, and it's, again, they're kind of this album is kind of seedy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's not a nice love album. This is kind of
No,
a bitter, young men singing about kind of being a little, feeling like these women are playing us and we don't give a crap. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I mean, like, there's lines like, I'm just grateful for our friendship.
Yeah.
Uh, I know you won't be dreaming. I know you're sleeping and you're dreaming, but it's definitely
Not,
not of me.
yeah.
And I know we won't kiss, which again reminds me of unrequited
Mm,
love or a fleeting feeling.
yeah.
And we don't get to the second part of the song until the next album. But this is where I take over because it was when I heard somebody that I creatively fell head over heels for Martin L. Gore. I, I the lyrics, the the depth of the maturity, the
Yeah.
longing, the loneliness, the sensitivity, and the gotcha at
Yeah.
the end of the song, which we'll talk about later. I was just singing that a few times, trying to memorize it because it it also reminded me of a lyric I could very easily write at any time. There's this envy of him writing it, him or anyone writing
Yeah.
something so personal and yet so damn relatable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like he's bearing his soul. And I mean, they did a music video, and Alden Ward, who was playing the piano, said that Martin actually sung this song naked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just turned the piano around, and so he wouldn't have to look at him. And
Yeah.
he's like, it's his song, he can do what he wants. And then you're wondering, why would a guy strip down to his birthday suit and sing a love song? Well, when you listen to the conventional type
Yeah.
lyrics, it becomes very evident very quickly. And you go on this emotional journey with him
Yeah.
about what he really wants, what he really desires,
Yep.
which, when you think about it, if we're really being honest with ourselves, it's what everyone wants
Yeah.
in a relationship, and
Yep.
particularly in a marriage. And the fact that at the end of the song, this is where their sarcasm
Yeah.
comes out very bluntly because he's singing about these very personal, very intimate qualities that he wants in a partner. And then he says, and though things like this make
Yeah.
me sick, meaning a one night stand, tonight I'll get away with it. And I
Yeah.
thought that that was such a
Mm.
beautiful, honest, and painfully ironic ending. And so it was that song,
Yeah.
lyrically and musically, that really hooked me as a
Yeah.
fellow songwriter, where I was just completely captivated and in absolute awe of Martin Elgar as a songwriter, and for writing that song when he was so young.
Yeah.
I mean, it just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
So, uh, why don't we go on to the next one, unless you have something else to say about that?
I think if I did, we'd just be dragging it out because you just covered it all. So it's a beautiful song, and I think
Yeah.
singing it naked shows gives him that vulnerability in his
Yes,
voice. You know.
yes. I mean, it's like, and I think it was freezing on that day. I may be remembering that, but I mean, hats
Yeah.
off to you, Martin. So, master and servant, where we can go into the seedy underground porn, sex, uh, debauchery, but
Yeah.
it's also a very beautiful song in itself. And if you listen to just the music, it previews the type of music they will continue
Oh, yeah.
on Black Celebration,
Yeah.
which it's just, I don't know if they planned to do that, but it totally just foreshadows their,
I think I think
yeah,
they don't like, as they've said, they work on every album creatively at the time, right? They're
yeah,
never like too intentional
yeah.
beforehand. I think it's just Depeche Mode sings what I think they're the ultimate guy band. I mean, I think a lot of men who aren't listening to Depeche Mode are missing out. You know what I mean? And a lot of women who
Say
want to be
that
turned on
again.
and
Please say that again.
yeah, I think all men who aren't listening to Depeche Mode are missing out. And I think that women are missing out on their like fantasies, coming to life in a song.
Wow.
I think that Strange Love is their total intro and like daringly stepping the toes in to really what they wanted to sound like. And that's why we're starting with Construction Time, was because as the band has said, they don't feel like the first two albums were really strongly them. And while Construction Time is far more political,
Yeah.
and they said they felt that way at the time. England was going through a lot, so for them at home, it was hitting home. But I think Some Great Reward is that dabble into um, the psyche, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and really what men are thinking about, and it's about chicks and
Young
sex.
men. Young
Yeah.
men in particular. Strange Love isn't into music for the masses. Uh,
Oh yeah, sorry. But I mean Master, yeah, sorry. I put Master and Servant and Strange Love in the same category. So
well, okay.
yeah. Master and Servant, yeah, sorry about that, folks. Master and Servant, I think really gives us the foyer into a young man's mind. And I
Yeah.
think that it's fun, it's playful. I mean, not
Yeah.
only is it seedy and sexual in every way. And as I said last year, it could be a little bit political too. It can certainly be
Yeah.
seen as political. Um, I personally think it's more sexual,
Yeah.
when I think about the tonality of it. And I think that again, the lines of, let's play a game, or there's a new game I'd like to play. And
Yeah.
I mean that line alone is just hot. There's a new
Yeah.
game I'd
Let's
like to play.
let's with you on top. Let's
Me underneath.
forget equality. It's like, oh my,
We forget all about equality and we call it master and servant. And yeah, I mean, the lines are phenomenal. I love when he says, "You treat me like a dog and get me down on my knees." It's like, what's kind of hot is about, again, all men should listen to this band and all chicks should hear it if they need a warm up because, like, I mean, what dude says that? Yeah, you're gonna treat me like a dog. They reverse it. This is what I love about Depeche Mode. And when we get to the music for the masses, we're really gonna see role reversal. I mean, there is nothing hotter than Dave and Martin suggesting they want to be the ones who are kept. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that
yeah,
is hot. That a dude is like, I'm not in control. I'm asking you to be the master while I play the servant. And you're like, whoa, let's talk about kinky and strange. You know what I mean? Like that's a, and as I say, it's a game with added reality. And I think that even adds to those lyrics even more, right? Is
yeah,
like, almost a suggestion that, yeah, in reality, men are the masters. In reality, men are on top. And when they said that, an added reality, meaning we're still in reality, we're still, we're not dogs. I'm going to use dog as a metaphor,
Yeah.
but here's the added reality is that you're on top. I'm going to make you the master and I want you in control and to see everything you would do to me. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
got to say about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah. Yeah. And so, okay. And so a black celebration, which is really the first masterpiece of a album. I've been listening to it a lot. The deluxe version, which is often deluxe versions are often considered the definitive version of
Mm,
most albums. Uh, don't call me on that, internet. But
yeah.
Black Celebration definitely is, and we have about half or three quarters of the album to get through. So, a question of lust, as I said in the last part of the spiritual, uh, it's the title is really a form tease. It really is a full on tease
Yeah.
because you're thinking, oh, this is going to be another song like Master and Servant, a very seedy, very grungy, debauchery song because it had lust in the
Yeah.
title. You
Yeah.
can't get more simple than that. And yet, Martin, in his
Yeah.
genius,
Yeah.
again, Martin Al Gore, in his genius, pulls a fake out and
Yeah.
writes one of the most beautiful
Yeah. Yeah.
love songs where,
Yeah.
yes, a question of lust starts the chorus,
Yeah.
but it's fully a song about connection,
Yeah.
about a man on the road staying faithful
Yeah.
to the person he's with and not being the atypical rock star uh, just sleeping around with
Yeah.
whoever will throw themselves at
Yeah.
him because it is a question of lust, but it's also a question of trust. It's
Yeah.
about protecting what we've built up
Yeah.
together and not letting it crumble into dust.
Yeah.
I've just paraphrased the
The line.
chorus, but it's just a hauntingly beautiful
Yeah.
love song that you would not
Yeah.
get at all
Yeah.
from the title. And it leads into It Doesn't Matter Too.
Yeah. A very thematic song. I just described it to you earlier that I think it feels like a ballet.
Yeah,
It's like I actually always pictured Black Celebration. I probably said this on 100 podcasts because if everyone's
yes,
listened up to now, Black
yes,
Celebration is my fave. But I picture this album as like a ballet. I've
Yeah.
always wanted, if anybody's listening, please just give me royalties. You can do it, but just let me know. I want a few cuts, for giving you the folks the idea. But like, I really picture this as an amazing ballet, like with
Yeah.
real ballerinas. And I want like some cool lights and shit because like this album is a roller coaster. And
Yeah.
this is the slower ballet. This is a kind of, or not even slow, it's kind of a dancey one. There's this like Martin's voice again really wins the song and it's, I love the way he has his little like was a feeling. It's like kind of this moving song, like a
Yeah.
river or ballet tool going, drifting. And I think as we're revisiting It Doesn't Matter in this one, they're much more descriptive with the feeling might last only for an hour.
Yeah.
And I know it might only be for now. But if it's only for now, then it's only for now. It's like, it's
Yeah.
kind of this very simple realization that the relationship is what it is. And
Yeah.
if all they can get is that hour, if all
Yeah.
they can get is it's almost revisits the lust concept too,
Yeah.
right? This album is very together. It's a concept album. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of songs that falter off the track. It's very
No.
much
Yeah.
a thematic album that's singing about a very real situation. Um, and I think that there is this like maybe this relationship is never going to come to be what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But if it's just this way if you're only willing to connect with me for an hour, what I mean, that's
Yeah.
okay too. Like I can deal. And so I think that's really what it's about. It's the kind of finalizing touch
Yeah.
of they've accepted what it is.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only album in their catalog that A has a title track,
Yeah.
which you have to wonder why Black Celebration. And the song does talks about nothing that we're going to talk about. But
Yeah.
it's also the only album where Martin Gore sings three different songs back
Yeah.
to back. A question
Oh,
of lust sometimes, and it doesn't matter too.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, uh, well, like I was saying before, I've listened to Black Celebration a lot, so I've gotten to know this album a lot better than in our college years. And I mean, it always struck me that block of songs Dave doesn't come back into the album vocally until a question of time. And
Yeah.
so, what would you like to say about a question of time?
The, what I love is that we talked about this last time. I'm embarrassed to admit I did not ever think out that he meant his daughter in this song, that they were talking as fathers. And this makes sense because Dave was a dad at the time,
Yeah,
had just had his, well, he had a son though. So I don't know if maybe they were just thinking about babies in general. I haven't looked up the other bandmates if one did have a daughter at the time, maybe. But there's this fascinating aspect that I suddenly realized it wasn't them singing about waiting for a girl to grow up. It was them acknowledging that the child they just created will eventually be wanted by lustful,
yeah,
turned
yeah,
on young men,
yeah,
dirty young boys.
yeah,
And that there's this inevitability to it that they'll
yeah,
have to lose that bond as a dad with their
yeah,
daughter and that they'll
yeah,
have to give her up to love or lust or both,
yeah,
like that she will have both in her life and they're
yeah,
going to have to accept that. And I really think the song, I always misinterpreted it that because it was like, I've got to get to you first before they do.
yeah,
And then it's a question of time before they get their hands on you. But then as I really started thinking about it, and he's like, and then they're just like the rest. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, now I think about it, it's a dad talking.
Yeah,
They're just like the rest. They're all gonna, trick you. And it's a dad being kind of jealous of something that hasn't even happened yet.
yeah,
The idea that this girl will not worship him with her manly love,
affection.
right? A different
Yeah,
kind of love, an affection of, you being her number one, and that
yeah,
someday he's going to lose her being number
yeah,
one, and that will
yeah,
feel like a loss to his heart. And I was
yeah,
like, dang, this song is so much fucking cooler, actually, that these young
yeah,
dudes are talking about being dads.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that you thought of it incorrectly like that because just like a lot of the songs we've talked about before and the previous two albums are very seedy, all
Yeah.
very grungy, all very dirty thoughts, very not shy innuendos.
Obviously
Of
about a 15-year-old on the next album. So
yeah,
it
and
was easy to mistake. Yeah.
yes, it was very easy. And going into Strip, which
My fave.
I mean, the video, let's be real, the video is eye candy for women. I mean,
And I think they could seduce men with that video. Come on. We
yes,
talked about this
no,
last time.
no, absolutely. I just didn't want to come out and say it was just sexual awakening.
I think men
But
want to be them. You know what I mean? Like you
yes,
watch this video and you're
yeah,
like, "Damn, do I want to be with them or be them?" Like I
yeah.
think they
I
make
mean,
any dude feel that way.
it's like seeing James Bond on the big
Daniel
screen.
Craig James Bond.
Yes,
Thank you very
yes,
much. Let's put that out there.
yes. But so I mean, the song, the lyrics can be interpreted much like master and servant
Mhm.
in very multiple different ways. And I think that is again one of the genius aspects of
Yeah.
Depeche Mode and of Martin L. Gore as lyricist because he's able to tap
Yeah.
into several different topics in a song
Yeah.
almost effortlessly.
Yeah. And I think, without diving, we've gone into this song a lot before because it's my fave on the album and probably second fave of all time with Depeche Mode. But it's, I think you're right. Is this is a pretty song and seedy at the same time. This is
Yeah,
that fine line Depeche Mode walks of, um, I want to hear you make decisions. Like you said, this is that role reversal. I want
yeah.
you as the woman to make decisions. I'm
To
empowering
make
you.
decisions without your television.
Yeah. He wants her to drop the roles. Stop
Yeah,
being the woman. Stop being what everyone's telling you to
yeah,
be. I don't want you to hear the voices of, and he says that, let's go back to the land.
yeah,
Like drop, what does he say? Drop the list or whatever. It's like he wants her to let go of everything everyone's told her to be and to
yeah,
truly let her be herself. And that's fucking great. I mean, sorry for the swearing, but like,
no,
holy crap. Like,
yeah,
Ty fan off here as a dude tells you, like, I need you to be even, like, you're not real. I need
yeah,
you to be realer. You're like, okay. All right.
yeah.
I'll do what you say, Dave. Thank you. That leather jacket's doing it for me. Just keep,
Warm up,
staring.
warm the fuck up.
Yeah. And I don't know who I would take first. I mean, honestly, you're like seduced by Martin, but I don't know if both were in front of me. I'd want Dave because of his looks and voice, but like Martin
Yes,
is like, he's his lyrics.
yeah,
I'd be like, I
no,
don't know, man. I know what's going on in your head, and maybe I want that instead. Like, I wouldn't be able to pick the guy
yeah,
staring at me through my soul or the one talking through my soul.
yeah, yeah. It's very, very evocative. And like World for Nothing. First of all, I love that title because
Yeah,
again, you have no fucking idea what that song is about. And the
yeah.
fact that the chorus is just one line repeated over and over and over.
Though
Like,
it's not love, it means nothing.
yes. And it's,
And then he
uh,
says, and then it means something. They change it later.
yes. And it's like, it's such the word play and of their titles even it's like it blows my mind. And so what do you have to say about Dressed in Black?
Um, Dressed in Black is an obsessional
Yeah,
song. We're going dark. We thought the early part of the album was a little conflicted. This one is really about obsession with a woman who they can't reach. This
yeah,
is straight up obsession. I think this song, and yet it's pretty.
yeah,
Somehow Dressed in Black is a haunting, like interesting song. It keeps you hooked despite it's operatic.
yeah,
It's like this belongs in like Phantom of the Opera. I mean, it's a
yep,
strange,
yep,
weird, like Andrew Lloyd Webber style composition. And it's
exactly.
but I really, you can tell it's about men who are watching this woman, you know what I mean, from afar
Yeah,
and intrigued by her. She might even be a little bit older. She might be wiser. She has something they aren't familiar with, and yet they're so hooked on it. And I think there's this um, obsession even with her, maybe her depression or darkness or
yeah,
intrigue or mystery around.
yeah,
There's a mystery around this woman they're singing about, and they call
yeah,
her, you know, they say she's dressed in black again, meaning she's veiled from what
yeah,
they can understand of her. That the veil is going forward, and they just don't understand it. And again, I think this is crazy. This is like such a wonderful young man song again, singing about how
yeah,
young men can feel so confused
yeah,
by women, you know what I mean? And that there's this
yeah,
woman who they really love and don't, or like, not love, a woman they have become obsessed with and
yeah,
yet can't reach because they have no fucking clue where to
yeah.
start. Like, so they're just
And
going to keep watching her.
I mean, I ordered the collector's edition of this album, which is basically the deluxe edition with a DVD of the documentary and extra tracks. Because of you, you really your hype and your love for this album.
Should be their
Uh,
hype girl.
yeah, which I mean, this is your songs of faith and devotion. And when
Oh,
we'll get to that album, I mean, that's my album. It was that. But it's interesting because when you flip to the backside of the album, the album, the album's last track is New Dress.
Yeah.
The the final track of the album, but not tonight, is on their B-sides for
Yeah.
the album. And the only reason why they were probably forced to put the B-side on the album as the closer to the album is because the Americans in their wisdom, quoting Martin here, were not released stripped as a single in the US at the time.
Yeah.
They instead released But Not Tonight, which was a B-side to the single, and they put it in a movie.
Yeah, a movie called I think it was called Modern Women. It was horrible.
That makes so much sense.
My dad caught it on yeah, I'm gonna look it up. My dad caught it on like one of those indie channels or whatever, and that was when we had like TiVo became cool. And he called me at college and he's like, "Oh my God, I found it! It has the But Not Tonight music video." And he TiVoed the whole thing for me. It was spectacularly bad. I love 80s movies, and that was it was rough. No, was it my I don't but Not Tonight. Depeche Mode, yeah, But Not Tonight movie. What was it called? Modern Girls.
But
If any of you ever check it out, it's got what was her name? Virginia Madison. It had
yeah,
some good actresses. It had what was her name? Daphne
Renee,
Zellweger, whatever. She was from Spaceballs. She played the princess.
Renee Zellweger.
No, not Renee Zellweger.
Oh,
No, the woman's name was Daphne. I think she had the same
oh,
last name. This was before Renee. No, this woman was from Spaceballs, and she plays the princess they rescue.
wow.
Um, yeah, and I think Virginia Madsen, and who was the other guy? The guy in it was from my favorite '80s movie. Just one of the guys. So I was so excited to see it. It was junk. It was garbage, complete garbage.
Yeah,
But
and
anyway,
the
but the song
song,
is so adorable. I love it.
yeah, the song, I talked about it in the last section, how But Not Tonight is the polar opposite of a album ender than the album final track for Some Great Reward.
Yeah,
Blasphemous Rumors. You cannot get more far apart musically in Depeche Mode canon than those two songs for closing out albums.
but
And
it's cute. It's like the
yet,
whole album is
no,
so dark, and then it's like beep beep beep.
no,
It's bubbly and
no,
sparkly. I love
it's
it. I love it.
it's
I love it.
totally cute. It's a very chilled song. It's about regret. It's very
Yeah,
simple. And not every song needs to layer on
yeah,
layer. And when you hear Martin do the outro backing vocals, you get that Martin is very content in his role of
yeah,
just writing the songs
yeah,
and letting someone else be the front man and sing them.
yeah. And it's just sweet. It's a self-love song. Like you said, it's a self-acceptance, accepting the past, accepting the regrets, finally being happy with yourself and your decisions. And it's sweet. It's just like I hate that they hate that song because it's kind of this
Yeah,
bizarre ending to the album, and I feel like
yeah,
it's the perfectly bizarre ending. It's so Depeche Mode. It's like
yeah,
quintessential to just be like, hey, you know how this album was really edgy? We're just gonna end it with a sparkly 80s song. And you're like, cool, thanks. A dance hit.
So, we're gonna take a break for a few minutes and come back with part 1.5 to talk about the rest of our songs.
Poor
See you in
people.
a minute.